And now, Move the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ Buck with you. Buck, man, I've been gone. I was in Alaska for a week. Had a nice little getaway there. Do this every year. And I got to tell you, man, I can tell you about the trip in a minute. And appreciate you soldiering on here on the show. But I left, gosh, it was a week vacation. And then I got home on a Saturday. So that's like, gosh, about 10 days or something like that. But this baseball team never won a game the whole time I was gone.
What are you talking?
Dodgers, they didn't win the whole time. I was literally spent a whole vacation in Alaska. Those guys didn't win a single game.
It's fine. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We know we just got to get a ticket. Got to get in. Got some guys not playing well right now. Got some guys not playing very well right now. So
I'm such a jinx, though. They'll win like 15 games in a row now. But I just don't get me opportunities to take my shot. So I had to take my shot.
I mean, you got to take a shot when you feel like your shot is there. But we know what it's going to be when it gets down to the end.
No, hey, dude, training camp's here, man. Getting excited to get out to see some camps. I'll be out this weekend. Are you going anywhere this weekend? What do you got?
Yeah, so I'm down in Florida. I got Miami and Jacksonville. So I have Miami on Saturday, Jacksonville on Sunday, going down early to check out the Jaguars. Their first practice is Wednesday. So I may have to go check that out, see what they're doing, see if they're going to get, how they're going to use Travis Hunter. But no, DJ, it's on. Like I literally have, I was going through doing my calendar like I do on every Sunday. And I just kind of X'd out all the weekends until February, the middle of February. Yeah, unavailable. Nothing.
Dude, I've got, you're going to be in the South. I'm going to be in the South. I'm going to see the number one overall pick, Cam Ward, on Back Together Saturday. So that'll be this coming Saturday. I'll be in Nashville to watch Cam Ward, the Titans. And then I'm going to be at the Eagles, see all my buddies up there on Monday, the following Monday. And then after that, zip home, and I've got Chargers on Tuesday. And then I know I don't want to break news here, but like I do believe Move the Sticks, we're going to take the show to Cowboys camp sometime in early August, second week of August, somewhere around there. So we'll get out there, get a chance to visit with our Cowboys. I'm sure we'll be out to the Rams to see those guys as well. So busy time, but a fun time, no doubt. Let's kick things off here, Buck. It's time for Hot or Not, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. A couple contracts have come down here from recently this offseason here. Look at what happened with the Kansas City Chiefs is where I wanted to focus. George Karlaftis gets a new deal. Some people thought, kind of surprised at the money he got good money, but he gets a new deal. Trey Smith, they had got him done as well this offseason. So you look at the Chiefs and kind of how they've positioned their resources in terms of what they did in the draft on the offensive line as well. Buck, it feels like, Andy Reid has always been a line of scrimmage guy, and no surprise here that he continues to develop and to pay that position.
Yeah, they do. And it's one of the things that the Kansas City Chiefs have done quietly, but it comes off of what they did successfully in Philadelphia for years. They are a trenches team. And sometimes when we look at the Kansas City Chiefs, we see all the flash and dash, the razzle-dazzle of Pat Mahomes and company, and we forget that they have kind of made their bones by being really good on the offensive line and fairly dominant on the defensive line, particularly when you have Chris Jones. The thing about it, if you're Kansas City, you drafted George Karlaftis as a first-round pick. He has given you that complementary playmaker that you wanted opposite of Chris Jones, and he's continuing to get better. Look, the money is kind of crazy when you look at it. $93 million is a significant chunk of change, but your expectation is he's going to continue to get better. And eventually, when Chris Jones fades to black, George Karlaftis, you're hoping, becomes the centerpiece of that defensive line.
Yeah, I was with Andy, and I know in his belief in the line of scrimmage, he's always felt that way. I just think this team has morphed over the years, and they've still continued to win at a very high level. Again, just one win away from winning another championship last year. But I have been kind of stuck on this one little thing, and this is just a selfish thing, and I think it flies in the face of how we both preach about team building in terms of you build it up front, all those things. But I wrote down for the Chiefs, MCFA. We can get some hats. MCFA hats. Make the Chiefs fun again. Like they just, I want that to be that. Even when look, I work with the team in the division, right? Work with the Chargers, call their games. So there's people can tell me that I'm, anti-Chief, this, that, and the other. I'll admit, like when the Chiefs in the Tyreek Hill early days and Mahomes getting on the field early days, like even if you weren't playing them or preparing, to call a game with those guys, like you couldn't turn away from it. It was so fun to watch, like what they were doing. Zoom, 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 zoom. And I know in some of that changed the way teams play defense. That brought in too high, that brought in shell coverage, that let's put a lid on everything, limit explosive plays. But man, Buck, they have been such a dink and dunk offense. I hope that offensively the Kansas City Chiefs can get some vertical aspects back in their game.
You want some of the vertical, you want some of the fun days, some of the throw it over top of the defense.
Yes.
It's coming back. Xavier Worthy will give them a chance to be it. But I'm going to be honest. I think part of the reason why the Chiefs have not been able to have the deep ball, they're different in the backfield than the way that they used to be. I like Isaiah Pacheco, and he's solid, but I don't know if he's the type that you have to drop the extra defender in the box to defend them. I've always felt like if the Chiefs were more special in the backfield, they will be able to bring back the deep ball, or they will be able to punish the too deep safety looks that they're facing when people are really trying to make them play half court basketball.
Yeah. Well, you bring in this draft class and look at what's going to happen there. Okay, first of all, get Rashee Rice back, get him going. I don't know that he's really your deep threat, but you bring him in. Your first round pick's a left tackle in Josh Simmons. You sign another tackle, Jalen Moore, in free agency. The hope is that, okay, now you've got a little more time. You can let those things develop down the field. Jalen Royals can really run. They drafted him in the 4th round. Worthy will be in the 2nd year. We know he's arguably the fastest player in the National Football League. He is by time. So they've done things, from a protection standpoint and just a development, and their young guys kind of continuing to grow, including a new piece there that they should be able to get a little bit more over the top. And I'm looking at the backfield. What they did in the 7th round is a fun one in Brashad Smith, who's going to give them some explosive plays in the pass game out of the backfield. But yeah, maybe it's kind of a different way of looking at it, right? But in order to be more vertical and explosive, we've got to be more dominant in the backfield. Like it's kind of seems like that's a dichotomy, but it actually makes a lot of sense.
Well, when you think about like how the league is going, remember we've seen the renaissance of the running back, and we've seen the running game come back to prominence. And a lot of that was due to teams playing more zone coverage and more too deep coverage, trying to take away the big shots. Everyone is trying to take away the big play and force teams to drive it down the field. The only way you can create those big plays offensively is when you run the ball and you can lure that extra defender into the box. And then you have one-on-one coverage, and you're hoping a speedster can win. Xavier Worthy. I know somewhere in that playbook, Andy Reid wants to use those Deshaun Jackson plays that he had from Philadelphia for Worthy. Those deep overs, those deep in and out corners, those explosive plays. But the only way that they're going to be able to do it, got to set up the run in some way. You got to make them defend the running game so you can take advantage of the one-on-one possibilities.
Yeah, the other thing that's interesting, though, you look at the division, the 3 teams in your division, look at the fronts, the pass rushers of the teams in that division. That's 6-year games right there where you got teams with dudes who can really rush. It's a little bit of a challenge in being able to protect, to be able to get those shots off. So we'll see how this offensive line comes together. A couple new pieces there. That'll be interesting. All right, that was this week's Hot or Not segment, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. Store more and do more with your data. Try them for free at wasabi.com. I'm going to split this up because there's a couple more football things I want to get to here, but I'm moving this up on the rundown because I want to get your take on it. So we just had the Open, right? And Scotty Scheffler just won the Open over there in Ireland, I believe is where they played it. And there was a lot of buzz about the interviews that he gave and about how he talked about perspective in life and how winning or losing doesn't really make him as a person. Talked about his faith, talked about his family. Very low heartbeat. There was an interview I saw with Jordan Spieth, another golfer on the tour, who talked about how, Scotty, when he's done playing, you'll never see him again. And he said he made the phrase, he's unlike any other superstar that we've seen in that he doesn't want anything to do with cashing in on his celebrity, be it an endorsement things, being out there out front. He said going out and speaking and doing the business things, there's all this free money that's waiting out there for you if you want it. And the only player he could think of in professional sports that would compare to that was Nikola Jokic. who we thought
Mm.
was, a superstar player who does not give two flips. Like, he's just very humble, doesn't want all that comes with that. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, I'm going to hit Bucky on this. Like, do we have anybody? Because Tom Brady cashed in. Like,
Mhm.
and Tom Brady is emotional. Like, you saw his emotions go up and come down. Scotty Scheffler is just like this. So I'm like, who in the football world is like that, and who doesn't really embrace the spotlight? Initially I thought, oh, maybe like a Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow wears the loud clothes, like he
Uh, I
buys the Batman suit. Like, that is not
Mhm.
Scotty Scheffler.
I would say Jalen Hurts. I would say Jalen
Okay.
Hurts is kinda like
Yeah.
steady yet he doesn't give you a lot. It's kind of mysterious in terms of what he's doing, how he operates. You've told me the stories about how he came in very early in his career with a briefcase, went to work every day, got the big contract, and it doesn't appear to have changed his approach or outlook. It's not like we see him all over the screen on a bunch of different commercials, whatever. He kind of just goes about doing his business. And then when you dig into his background, a lot of philanthropic things that he's kind of into. To me, he might be that undercover superstar who is okay letting his on-field accolades and achievements kind of speak for themselves.
I think you nailed it. I didn't even think of that one, because I was thinking of, and it's not a perfect match, but Justin Herbert's like that. Justin Herbert does not want anything to do with the spotlight. Justin
No,
Herbert, is very, very
cool.
to himself.
In
Doesn't
LA,
does
but never see him in LA.
Never see him.
Like
Never
never,
see him.
never
No, and I
see
mean,
him.
he's done a couple like random like beef jerky ads or something like
Nothing.
off brand a little bit, but you don't see him doing that stuff. He's a good looking guy. He plays in the number 2 media market. You would think he would just be cashing those in. I don't
Chilling.
think he really has an interest in doing that. And I think once he's done, he'll be fishing somewhere. You won't necessarily see him anywhere.
Gone to November. Just
But it
out.
is like to struggle to come up with names. You came up with a good one. Shows you just how rare it is for a guy to be wired that way.
It is, and we're in such a different time where it's hard for people to keep the main thing, and they're conditioned from a very early age. Like young athletes are conditioned. It's about the brand, and the brand is all the things that they talk about. But in reality, the brand should be your performance and your production, because the better you perform and produce, the more likely you're going to have opportunities, because everyone loves a winner, and everyone is chasing excellence, greatness. And so if you become a great player and you win on top of that, all those things kind of take care of themselves. And so if you focus on the things that are really important when it comes to your sport, more than likely you'll be paid back tenfold.
Man, I'm mad at myself for not coming up with Jalen Hurts, because it's not only
Okay. So
it's a great
no,
one.
no, I'm gonna give you this, and it comes on the heels of, like, the people know you and I are both Nike guys, right? No offense to
Yeah.
the other brands, but you and I are
Yeah.
Nike. We live in the brand. We talk. We have friends that work for the brand and those things.
Mhm.
And so it comes on the heels of seeing the Jordan brands, got what they call it, Board of Greatness, where they had a trip to Greece, where Jordan took all of his
I didn't even know this.
endorsees. Oh, he
Yeah.
took all of his endorsees. They were there. They're talking about it. And Jalen Hurts was one. And you see him on the thing. And so it was just front of mind, being like, wow, how about them being on the front end of investing in him
Mhm.
early? And he paid him back. 2 standout performances in Super
Yeah.
Bowl champion. He leads a team that is dynamic and really fun to watch, albeit in a different way. And he is catalyst, but not the traditional quarterback catalyst, because people will say, like, yeah, but they have all these weapons in the running game, but 4 straight seasons with 10 rushing touchdowns. And a lot of what you have to do when defending him and Barkley is the run game as
Mhm.
opposed to the passing game. It's just a counterculture approach, which is why he kind of came to my thought process.
Yeah, I was kind of running through, like, maybe if you went in the previous era of the NBA, and I can't even come up with one. Bird was in commercials with him. He was all over commercials, him and Magic
I
kind of doing
mean,
their thing.
like, it's funny in a weird way. Shea Gildress
Yeah,
Alexander
yeah,
is a
SGA.
little bit of that. SGA is a little under the radar. Now he's flamboyant and flashy with his clothes, and those things, but his game is not. I mean, he's a mid-range assassin. Like,
Mhm.
it's not a lot of flash to it. He kind of focuses on it. He won the MVP, wins all this other stuff, and just kind of like ho hum on to the
The,
next.
the the thing with Chef, I watched the end of the tournament. I didn't see heard any of the tournament, but I watched the end of it, and the thing that struck me was the walk, like when you're walking up 18 and you've got this thing wrapped up, normally you'll see the guys, they'll just be looking up. You can just see them just soaking it all in. Maybe, like you said, maybe some fist pumps, like kind of just drinking it all in. He was like, I just got to go putt this thing. Yeah.
What do I got to do? All right. So I'm
I
going to
got
make
two putt. I got just two putt and go
I got
home.
2 putt. Then where do I need to go stand, get the
Yeah.
check, the trophy? Like, just let me know so I can do this and we can get off the court and go back.
Speaking of like marketing though, like for him not being, Nike put out their little quick ad on social media, which was great. But yeah, like his kid had like this cute little Nike sweatsuit on. I was like, that was Nike got their money's worth just on the kid. Like they're gonna sell so many of those little mini kid sweatshirts and sweatpants, man. His son was rocking. That was the best advertising. That was like the best thing you've seen since the Tigers putt with the logo just dripping in.
You're just
dripping into the
slowly
cup.
rolling into the cup. Yeah. Not that that was by design or anything. Like,
but I think that's a good lesson too, like a scouting lesson where you can't just be narrow. In other words, you can't say I need somebody who's not emotional. I need somebody who's got a passion and a fire in them. Like we can find great players in every sport with all different types of personality. I think that the one thing that like with Scheffler compared to, with all these other guys that they do have in common, even though he doesn't necessarily outwardly show it, it's the drive and the competitiveness. Like he really wants to win. I mean, it doesn't make or break him, but he's putting in the work and the drive and there's that part of the wiring. I think it's wiring versus personality. I think sometimes we lump those things together. I think those are two different things.
Yeah, it's funny, because there are two different things. It is about the wiring, and the one thing is you try and find enough on the player to dig inside to get that part of it. And then we talk about the personality. I think it's hard, and I think it's hard like early because so much of playing, we use quarterback. So much of playing quarterback is about the leadership and the showcase position. Like it's the most marquee position in sports. They get the most money, a lot of the accolades and the attention. And so to have someone who knows I'm stepping into this role that brings all of this, but I don't want that.
Yeah.
I just want the wins. I think that's a rare find because from the time, you see it, you've been around football, youth sports, you see the dads and the quarterback dads and coming and, we can go from this school to that school to this school. And hey, what about me? They're conditioned from an early age to be very me-centric. That's hard to then say, I'm not going to worry about me. I'm just going to focus on the product and make sure that everyone around me is better. And I'm not worried about the attention.
Yeah.
It's rare.
Yeah, it is very rare, man. It's very interesting. All right, Buck, I don't know if you saw this. There was an article, I believe it was on ESPN the other day, about J.J. McCarthy and about how Coach Kevin O'Connell was dedicating an hour to him every week to meet in his office, even though he was on injured reserve, wasn't going to play his entire rookie season. And they were they were chasing a Super Bowl last year with the year they had in Minnesota. But KOC still carved out an hour where he would meet with him and just invest in him and help him to learn and grow. And he said he thought that really helped them get up to speed now that he is the starter going into his second year without any playing time. And so one of the things in the article that stood out to me was they asked him, how did you know you were comfortable with him being the guy? You let Sam Darnold leave. They had Daniel Jones in their building last year. Let him walk away. They don't go out and get Aaron Rodgers, who would have been familiar with the system. They put all their eggs in the J.J. McCarthy basket. And the one thing in there I took that I thought was fascinating, he said, I felt comfortable with JJ because of the questions he was asking.
That is, so there's so many layers to that, right? To be able to ask good questions, you have to know what you're looking at and want to have the solutions to the problems that come up. It's not just the random surface questions that are generic, but it's questions that are due to the work that you're doing that you want to crack the code. I'll say this about J.J. McCarthy, and look, it goes to the coach that you work with very closely in Jim Harbaugh. I've never heard someone rave and give so much effusive praise to a player who helped him win a national title, but didn't appear to play the leading role in that. Mm-hmm. But every time you hear Jim Harbaugh talk about J.J. McCarthy, he talks about, man, he reminds me of myself, ultra competitive, has it. And then he also would talk about Alex Smith. And I find J.J. McCarthy fascinating because of, I would say he has an old soul in terms of the way that he approaches it. seeing him meditate before games under the goalposts, being on the cutting edge of like the meditation, the breathing exercises, all of those things, knowing the pressure and being what I would say very open and honest about like being able to control the mind. To me, he has a level of maturity that is beyond his years. And I think the other part that you talked about with KOC, because Kevin O'Connell was a quarterback and a backup quarterback, I think that has really helped him be really, really good with quarterbacks. I think being aware enough that I got a young quarterback that I need to develop, and even though he's injured, I need to continue the developmental process. People talked about how Belichick would always meet with Tom Brady, that hour-long meeting, however, multiple times a week, and they would go back and forth. Man, everybody wants a franchise quarterback, but few people invest in the quarterback in terms of holistically making sure that they're better. To me, this is the right player and the right coach having the plan that is going to allow him to succeed very early in his career.
All right, so this is the other place that my mind went as you brought up great points there. My thought was, you have your quarterback coach, you have your offensive coordinator, but let's just say, and I know you can have an assistant quarterbacks coach. You can throw as many coaches on your staff as you want. But wouldn't it almost make sense to dedicate one, like you think about having a personal trainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just for me. If you have a former quarterback who's played in your system, a retired quarterback, I mean, it maybe doesn't have a whole heck of a lot going on and doesn't want to be the full-time, coach. But you can say, hey, look, you're a former quarterback. You played, 8 years in this league. You've been in my system. We drafted a quarterback in the second round, and he's not going to get on the field this year. I want you to be his personal trainer. Like you're going to come in. He's going to sit in all our regular quarterback meetings. He's going to go through all of our install. He's going to go through all the stuff that all the other quarterbacks go. But I'm going to carve out, instead of an hour a week, we're going to have an hour a day, where you're just going to come in here an hour a day and he can fire any questions he has at you, and you can help him understand and learn this offense that we're running. It seems to me like, gosh, that money would be well invested if you did that.
There's money well invested, and there's ways you can do it without putting him on the coaching staff. Practice squad is a way to do that, right? If you can find someone who's able to do it, hey man, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars to be on the practice squad, and your job is to help my young guy get better. So the questions that he may want to ask the starter, he'll go to you.
Yeah.
The trick is the guy has to have enough.
Got to have humility.
And he's had to play enough where there's a respect factor that is there. You know what I mean? Like play just enough where you've seen him play. You can respect the fact that he's had some success in this league. He's been around a long time in this league. Hey, let's go and see you have it. Perfect example would be like a Chase Daniel type, right? Mm-hmm. Played, has him said, hey, Chase, teach my guy the program. I've heard so many people talk about the program that they all learned from Drew Brees, right?
Yep.
Chase was there to back up. Then they said that maybe Chase took it somewhere else and gave it to somebody else. Everyone is following.
The Chiefs. Gave it to Alex Smith, and then Alex Smith then in turn gave it to Patrick Mahomes.
That's what I would want. I want someone who has the program. Show me how to lay out my week. What's my Monday, my Tuesday, my Wednesday look like? What should I be doing on the field and off the field? How do we get ready for it? At a time where the league is becoming increasingly younger, the practice squad has helped us have some older guys, but having a true mentor that is just there, the mentor that he gets his jollies off of watching his young pupils succeed. I would like that, but you're right. Not a lot of guys like that. It takes a very selfless person to be able to
value
give
though,
that.
man.
Invaluable. Like you're overpaid for someone like that. Like a quality mentor at quarterback, you're overpaid for that.
Yeah, I agree with you. So it's interesting to see how teams continue to approach developing these players. But I thought that was a fascinating article. If you haven't read it, go check it out. It's on ESPN.com, just about how they handled J.J. McCarthy's rookie season, a year in which he was unable to play due to injury. So I thought fascinating stuff there. Last topic for you, Buck, before we get out of here. The fact that all these training camps are opening up, I started thinking about this. I'm like, we're going to be on TV a bunch. We're going to be doing all, talking about all these camps. And I know the Cowboys are always going to be the Cowboys, and we're always going to talk about them. It just is what it is. Get used to it. But I was trying to think of what is the team outside of the Dallas Cowboys that is going to be the team that we're checking in on every single day, because I've got two in mind. I was curious if you're going to see it the same way, or if you had another team that you think will be the will be the most discussed team of the preseason and training camp before we get to the regular season.
Easy one is Pittsburgh.
That was one of my two.
After Pittsburgh, most discussed. Geez. That's tough for me after that. I just think they're obvious. Not Atlanta, not Tampa. Maybe the Giants in a weird way, only because of the silliness that may take place with Jameis and Russell and Jackson. Only because
that's a good one. That's in the market. That's a big market. Yeah. Stuff. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, how did I miss? That's obvious. Shedeur. I messed that one up. Yeah.
I mean, you've got Shedeur and Gabriel as the two rookies. Then you've got Flacco as the vet. Then you've got Kenny Pickett you trade for. Like, just the quarterback room alone is going to be, I mean, that is going to be every single day is going to be a recap of what happened at practice, what happened in this preseason game, over analyzing at its absolute finest. Not to mention, who's the guy? It's Deshaun Watson standing over there. Forgot he's hurt, but he's out there. I mean, it's just that position. I think that the Cleveland Browns quarterback position and the Pittsburgh Steelers team. So the quarterback for one team, and then the Aaron Rodgers, the whole shooting match with Pittsburgh with all that they've done. I think those are going to be the two most discussed stories. And we'll put the Cowboys in their own category because we know we're talking about them.
Yeah, no, the Shedeur Sanders thing is fascinating. I've just never seen a situation where you have four quarterbacks that are vying for one spot, and I don't even know how you break this up with 3 preseason games. I've never seen this, and I don't know how you ready the team. At some point, you have to get the team ready to go with the starter in mind. DJ, I don't know how you do this. I don't know how you split the baby. I don't know how we've never seen this. We've never seen this. 4 for 1. I've never seen this happen.
It feels to me like maybe we were talking about how this shakes out, but it almost feels like between Flacco and Pickett, I feel like the two rookies, I'd just be shocked if they don't both make the team.
Oh, it's lose or leave town match.
Yeah,
lose or leave town. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett.
Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett. But I almost think you're saying, like, whoever the first starter to get hurt around the league is, like Cleveland, you pick up the phone. Andrew Berry pick up the phone and say, "Hey, saw your starter got hurt." Yep, yeah, that's tough. What do you have in mind? Well, we've got Flacco and Kenny Pickett. Dealer's choice. Dealers, just send me something. One of them's got to go, so you just send me something, and we'll work something out.
Here's your pick. It's like when those okay, you remember playing basketball? Like the player's supposed to shoot the free throws, but he gets hurt. So then the coach can come down to the other end and pick who he wants to shoot the free throws.
Yeah. Him.
Hey man, pick your guy. Pick your guy. Yeah, that's what we're asking. That's what we're asking. Hey man, pick whoever you want.
Do they still do that, by the way? Is that still a thing?
I think that's a rule.
Because it was the opposing coach. Right? The opposing coach got to pick it. And the funny thing is, like, you're in high school, like, he doesn't know, like, the 8th guy on your bench. He doesn't know who can't shoot. So it's literally the most, like, I would say it's the most, profiling. It's the most profiling you're ever going to see is the opposing basketball coach picking who shoots the free throws for the hurt player. You, like, see this, like, nerdy white guy on the bench, like, well, he's only on this team for one reason.
He looks really nervous.
It ain't him.
He looks nervous. Yeah, we're going. Yeah, that's
See, I'd be looking at the most athletic guy and be like, man, you're the most athletic looking guy on the bench. You're not playing. The only reason possible that you could not be out on the court is because you cannot shoot. That's who I'm picking to shoot the free throws. I'm trying to find the most athletic person, and I'm saying, okay, him, because I don't understand why else he wouldn't be playing. There's a lot of strategy in that move, man.
A lot of strategy. So funny.
Look, we touched football, we touched baseball, we touched basketball.
Baseball, yeah, you got a little baseball in.
Yeah, we touched it all. All right, buddy. Excited. We're gonna be out on the road, so we'll have another pod, I think, coming Thursday. So we'll keep you guys in the mix here as we're traveling around. We're gonna make this thing work. Keep the pods coming your way. We appreciate all your feedback, and we will see you next time right here on Move the Sticks.